If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? This is a philosophical question often asked to get you to think about the nature of reality. But if we think about the question from a scientific viewpoint, we must consider first what we mean by the word sound in order to figure out the answer to the question about the tree. So, what is sound? First, let's think about the tree falling. I'm going to imagine a tree that breaks away from its root system right at ground level. Before the break happens, the tree starts to bend over. As it is bending, tension in the wood fibers in the trunk builds as they are stretched tighter and tighter, much like a guitarist tuning up before a performance. You can think of the wood fibers as tiny bundles of string lined up next to each other. Eventually, the fibers become stretched beyond what they can handle, and the tree starts to break. As the tree breaks away and starts to fall, there is a rapid snapping of the wood fibers at the place where the tree breaks free from its roots. The rapid release of the tension in the wood fibers makes the whole tree vibrate for a fraction of a second. As the tree is vibrating, which is to say, as it is rapidly shaking back and forth, all the various vibrating parts of the tree jostle the air molecules surrounding the tree. Those air molecules knock into neighboring air molecules, which knock into their neighbors, and they knock into their neighbors, and so on for a long time. And if you happen to be standing in a spot where these moving air molecules are knocking into each other, then the air molecules in your ear canal can be jostled around, which causes the membrane at the end of the ear canal, sometimes called the eardrum, to vibrate. The vibrating eardrum makes the bones in your middle ear vibrate. Then those bones eventually cause another membrane in your inner ear to vibrate. That membrane has nerve endings on it, which are connected to the auditory nerve, which sends a signal to your brain, and suddenly you hear the distinct crack of the tree breaking as it begins to fall. You have just perceived a sound. Which brings us back to the questions that we posed at the start. What is a sound? Apparently, sound is a perception in our brain which is caused by a source of vibration. Between the initial vibration and our detection of the sound, there is a jostling of molecules as the sound travels from where it starts to where we hear it. So in terms of the original question, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? The answer is obviously no. Sound requires both a start of the jostling and the perception at the end. If you don't have anyone around to hear it, then there is no sound made. Sounds are all around you. Your phone, your friends, your family, cars, buses, planes, dogs, cats, cows. All of them make sounds. Some sounds are very pleasing. Think of the sounds made in your favorite music. Some sounds are not pleasing, like the screams of a crying baby. Some sounds are just plain irritating, like the squeak of chalk being drawn across a chalkboard. Sounds can be heard at very quiet levels. Your ears are incredibly sensitive. Sounds that are extremely loud can damage your ears. Always wear ear protection if you are going to be exposed to loud sounds. Sounds can be high in pitch, like the sounds coming from a flute or piccolo. Sounds can be low in pitch, like the sounds coming from a tuba. Sound is all around us, and all sound starts as vibration, which is transmitted by the jostling of molecules until the jostling reaches our ears, and we have perceived that jostling as a sound. Thanks for listening to the sound of my voice.